Hey, people! Righto. So there's a mice plague going on in. That's a bit weird. That light, isn't it? There's a mice plague going on in New South Wales or Western New South Wales in the country. There's been mice everywhere, like all these mice in all the farmers' lands, and like just crazy, insane to see. And anyway, so what they're doing is they've started. Let's draw a map of New South Wales. It's going to be really bad, but let's do it. So it sort of looks like there's a top bit there, and then it goes like that, and then this is Queensland up here, and then you got Northern Territory and WA, and that's like, oh, hold on, there we go. That's our New South Wales. So this is New South Wales, this is Queensland, this is Victoria, this is South Australia. This is Northern Territory, and this is WA, and that is Australia. Oh, I'm not an artist. But anyways, we're focusing here. Sydney's around about there. So I'm living near that dot. What's happened is you've got all these little mice. How to see if we can draw a mouse. Boom, it's got to have whiskers, little beady eyes, and it's got little tiny feet with little things, and then it's got a little tail, of course. That's my mouse. So you've got my mouse buddy and all his mates starting out around here, and they've all been moving this way. And they've been just going over farms, properties, absolutely smashing everything. And just before Sydney here, there's a bunch of mountains, and when it's daytime, you can see the mountains. I'm just at the bottom of those mountains leading into Sydney. So I'm like right here. And what the mice have been doing, they've just been getting closer and closer and closer, and there's been reports of them in different areas. And now they're sort of over the mountains and closer to me. So I found the other day that I had some mice, and I didn't think I did initially because they were eating fruit. So because I'm quite healthy food-wise, and I don't really have much packaged stuff or sugary stuff or anything like that. And I've got a plate on my table that just has fruit on it all the time. So it's like bananas or apples or lemons or oranges or mandarins, whatever, all that stuff. And I just sort of use that as my snacks, right? And I went out there the other morning, this is 4 days ago now, and the end part, about that much of a banana, was gone, and it had like been hollowed out, and there were little bits of the skin on the table. And I was like, did it like rot away? Like, what's going on? It didn't look like something had eaten it. I thought it was weird. Anyways, I threw the banana outside. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it could be something's eating it, but what's a mouse going to eat in my house? Because there's nothing for him to eat. So I threw it outside. The dog ate it. And then the next morning, this was unmistakable. 2 apples have got little paw marks in them and little bite marks and teeth marks. And I was like, oh, man, I got mice. Damn it. So that was annoying, and then I didn't really do anything about it. The next day, though, I woke up and went out, and half a banana was gone, and I was like, "This is rats! Like, this is crazy." Half a banana, it was insane. I was thinking, these mice are tiny, like they're that big, and they've eaten something that's probably bigger than them. And I was like, "Oh man, that means there's definitely more than one, or it's a rat." Either way, I'm not happy. So I felt pretty gross, and I was struggling a little bit to sleep. I woke up early yesterday morning, and I was cleaning my entire house. I do my training in the morning, but then I was cleaning like crazy. So I flipped everything upside down. I mopped all my floors. I vacuumed everywhere, wiped down all the benches. All the food went in the fridge, or locked away so nothing can sort of reach it. And I found one dropping. That was it. It was in the cupboard, but no sort of trail, no nothing. I lifted everything up. Nothing was there, and I was like, "What the hell is going? Where are these mice?" Like, I'm on the top floor in my house, right? And there's a downstairs bit, and there's not a door blocking it, so it could have been coming from upstairs. Although it's a fair trek for a mouse to get all the way upstairs just to get some food. Usually they set up camp closer by, and I just thought, what? But I'm actually going to make a point about this, by the way. I'm not just telling you a story about how mice are infecting my house. There is a point coming, so bear with me. I was just thinking, where the hell are these mice? So I couldn't really work it out. And then I went and got some baits and I put them out. That was what I took a photo with on the thumbnail here. And two of them were gone like bang, fast. And I was like, whoa, okay. So there's mice here. Where have they gone? And then I started looking around the dishwasher, and there's a little skirting thing that goes on the bottom, and then there's the cupboards there like that. So let's get some more artwork going because I'm such an amazing drawer. So we've got like here, we'll call these like my cupboards, right? And then underneath it here, there's this little sort of silver skirting bit before the floor. And then here would be, so the squiggly lines would be the floor, right? So this bit here, I've got my dishwasher, oh, not that low, there. And then there's no skirting bit under it. And then on that side it starts, but it's sort of cornered off on that side. So there's no sort of, oh, you're not actually even saying that. It's cornered off on that side. So this is my dishwasher. These are my cupboards. They look the same. Put DW so you know it's a dishwasher. That's sort of cornered off so nothing can sort of get to it. And then this side's not. And I didn't know that. And I saw the little gap and it's about that far. And it goes all the way under these cupboards and there's a corner bit around there. I got my stove there. And I was like, that's where they're living because the packets were gone. So they've taken the whole packet. The idea is that they chew through the packets and then get the poison. And I was like, oh, man, they're living in my kitchen. Bloody hell. It's probably where the roaches live when they get up here too. Anyway, so I found out where they lived. And I've put more baits out. The two recent ones haven't been taken. Another one has been taken. I'm hoping they're dead. It's meant to have them being eaten once and they died. But why am I telling you this story about a mouse plague? Because the reason I cleaned my house so much is because I know mice don't live in clean areas. They also like sugar. They like sweet foods. They like artificial preservative style foods. I don't eat them. So it's very confusing to me as to why there were mice in my house because the environment's not really conducive to them or what they like. It would make more sense that they go next door. Go live in their houses. Don't live in mine, right? But yeah, I thought the mice in my house must be having like a detox, or they're eating fruit. That's all that's available for them. Anyways, so I was questioning for a bit. I was like, man, have I just slowly got really filthy? Like, what's happening? Why would there be mice here like that? And there's instances where things are going to happen in nature that you just don't get to control, whether it be like a plague, something like that, and they're just moving through. Like I've seen them taking my dog on walks. I've seen these things just run across pathways the last couple of days, and it's like, okay, right, probably not all my fault. I could have probably been a little bit better on a couple of things, but the reason I'm talking about mice and this is look at the mice and the rats. To get rid of them, right? There's a couple of ways to get rid of them. You can kill them all, go and kill them all, which tends to work semi-effectively, but you tend to miss some. And when you miss them, they breed and they make more. And the problem stays there or the problem gets bigger. Or you can look at it like pretty much how I was. What sort of environment do mice want to live in? What areas are they sort of attracted to? They live around bins. They live around garbage. They live around sweet, sugary food, deep fried food, all these sorts of things. And I'm like, I don't have any of that. So maybe I've just got to give my house a really, really big clean. So I did that. And then I found this little gap and you see there's all dust and God knows what else is under there from when I was here, from whoever was living here before me. But that was a bit that I hadn't controlled in my environment. And that's the bit where the mice are living, right? It's a very similar thing with health in general. Most people tend to take the approach of whatever the illness is, you've got to attack the illness or the disease or whatever it is at the time. But often the disease is just like a mouse. It's going to a location or a place because the environment that's there allows it to live. That's what it likes. It likes dirty stuff. It likes digging through garbage. It likes eating bad food. It likes all those sorts of things. So the mouse goes and lives there. There's an instance where if anyone's from America here and you're listening to this, or New York in particular, there's been a couple of times in history where people have done garbage strikes. So the garbage workers have stopped, and garbage would literally just pile up on the streets, pile up on the streets, pile up on the streets. And with all the garbage piling up on the streets, they get these massive rat infestations, like enormous amounts of rats. And if you were to take the approach of blaming the rats for the state of the environment and saying it's the rat's fault, it's the rat's fault, it's the rat's fault. The reason all this mess is here, the reason all this garbage here is because of these rats. If that's the approach you take, you're probably not going to be super successful in fixing the actual problem, because you can go and kill all the rats all you want, but because the garbage is still there, more of them are going to come. So that's the approach that I took, was like, all right, cool, I've got to clean this environment, make it something that mice will never want to live in. And as a backup, I'm looking to kill whatever mice are here, so that once they are dead, no more are going to want to come here because the environment is clean. Now, when it comes to health, things are very similar. Most people are feeding themselves or drinking things that are like, in effect, piling up garbage in their body. And then they start getting things like regular headaches or migraines, or they start getting colds and flus, or they start getting, I don't want to use the word virus because we're on YouTube, but viruses or any sort of illness or dis-ease in their body, or aches or pains. And they either blame it on their body failing, or that part of the body not working, or it's this thing's fault to numb the pain, or whatever it is, rather than that in effect is like blaming the rats or the mice and saying it's your fault that all this rubbish is here, or that this environment's like this. That's sort of what illness is a bit like. And I find it really intriguing. You look at people, because I live a healthy lifestyle, so illness isn't really an issue for me. There might be instances where I get slightly off course and I might have a very, very short-term raised temperature or a couple of sniffles, but I know exactly what to do for my health just to sort that out super quickly. And it's food, right? I just do it with food and water. That's it. I haven't been to a doctor for illness or sickness for a very long period of time. And the people that I follow that do the same things, they're exactly the same. They're in complete control of their health, because they create an environment in their body that is not conducive for disease or illness to exist. Okay. Now, there might be instances where, like I said, something will come along and there'll be like a short fever or whatever it is. But because your body's so good and the environment's so clean, it's not going to be there very long. It's out. And once it's out, there's not more coming in, because the disease or the sickness or the illness or the parasites or whatever it is that's causing that pain isn't going to be able to survive, because you've got a really good environment. It's very much what health is about. And look, I think for people that are sick or ill, there's 5 things that I think are the most basic things when it comes to health or maintaining health or improving your health. Super simple, super easy, and everyone can do these. And it's very, very simple to control. The first is air. How much air are you breathing? Simply, most people breathe through the chest. When you look at, let me get my drawing out again. I'll do this really quickly because I'm over my time limit, as I tend to be. This is meant to be a 10-minute call, so I apologize for the delay. But let's have a look at the lungs, right? So you've got a pipe that goes down like that, and then you got 2 sort of bags off to the side. Bang. That's our lungs. All the dots, they're the little capillary things that take in air and transport it to the blood. So that's our lungs. Now, if you look at the person, this would be the head up here, neck, boom, we've gone shoulders, arms. What happens is most people, when they're breathing here in the chest, like that. And the diaphragm that expands and contracts down here, where 2/3 of the lungs are, isn't used. So the majority of the lungs aren't used. If you ever look at a baby or a puppy lying on its back and breathing, you watch the belly goes, right? Now, we don't get to survive very long without air or oxygen, right? We just don't survive long without it. You've got a few minutes. If you train yourself, you can do like 20 minutes. But it's generally most people, especially if you're not trained, a couple of minutes and the brain starts to die very, very fast. But most people are only using a third of their capacity. Every single cell in your body needs this resource. But if you're only using it at the capacity of 1/3 of your capability, chances are some of the things that are functioning in your body probably you're going to get a little annoyed and not function so well. If you just sit there every single morning and take 10 deep belly breaths, belly breathing, where, let's have a look. So there, so most people are breathing, that's all chest, right? So belly, you want, fill the belly up. And that's using a lot more, it's called diaphragmatic breathing, but it's using a lot more of the lung capacity. It's something that we all naturally have. It's just generally because we live stressed lives, we tend to only breathe through here, right? So air is the number one pillar for health, and that will help reduce dis-ease in your body. It's creating an environment that dis-ease isn't going to be able to survive in. There's been some very interesting studies, and I'd encourage you to go and have a look at Dr. Otto Warburg, who did some very, very interesting research on cancer and won a Nobel Prize in the 1930s. I think it was 1933. If you go and research that, I won't talk about it here because the video will probably get blocked, but go and have a look at that and see what he discovered in relation to cancer and whether or not it can survive in a highly oxygenated state. Most people aren't taking in enough oxygen, then diseases have more opportunity to thrive. Okay, oxygen and an oxygenated environment doesn't allow a lot of disease to survive. Okay, but it allows health to expand and grow. So air, oxygen being number one. Number two is water. Water, your body's 70%, more than 70% water, right? Your cells all need it, yet most people drink less than a liter of water a day. Water is so crucial. You should be drinking 1 liter of water for every 22 kilos of body weight. Let me write that down. So you've got 1 liter of water for every 22 kilos of body weight. Boom. 1 liter of water for every 22 kilos of body weight. For me, personally, that's about 4 liters a day. Most days I drink that. I'm definitely never under 3. I've got a jar here. That's a liter. Boom. Sitting there ready for me to go. Okay? Because I've got about two more liters to do today. It's colder, you forget, and I know I've forgotten, but I've got the water in front of me so that I know that I drink that. If you're having aches and pains, if you've got pain in your joints, if you've got back pain, if you've got leg pain, if you've got knee pain, if you've got any sort of inflammation in your body, if you're struggling to lose weight, this is a massive one. Even for kids, the amount of overweight kids I see now is astonishing. If you are struggling to lose weight, chances are you're living in a very dehydrated state. I'm not going to go into why your body hangs on to weight right now when you're dehydrated, but it does. If you get yourself hydrated, very, very often weight just naturally drops off. Okay? Air first, water second. Third, I put sleep. I believe sleep, I can last a hell of a lot longer without food than I can with sleep. I think sleep is, I've gone 7 days with no food before. I do fast like that regularly to help clean my system, but regularly once a year, right? 7 days. But I fast 18 hours each day. It's called intermittent fasting. Brilliant thing to do. But sleep, I would not last more. The longest I've lasted is like 2-3 days without sleep, doing different events and work that I've done. And you feel horrible at the end. Yet, if I don't eat for 4 days, I actually feel quite good. If I don't eat for 7 days, I still feel okay. I miss the sensation of eating, but I feel okay. All right. Sleep, third most important thing. Fourth, I'd put food. Quality food. Food that is living. So growing food. Having your own garden, seeing herbs, vegetables, fruits. It's not rocket science, right? If you're buying stuff in a packet, it's probably dead. So if you're eating dead food, your body's probably going to start to feel a little bit that way. If you're eating foods that are vibrant, healthy, and living, vegetables, fruits, plants, um, seafood I think's good. I'm not massive on red meat. Some types are okay. Most meat I'm pretty much no. But generally speaking, if you're eating foods that are living, it's the best description I've heard anywhere. If you eat living foods, if you eat vital foods, you will feel that way. Simple. If you're eating things that are dead all the time, i.e., they don't grow or in a packet, like fast foods that are just full of preservatives and all fake crap, if you're eating all that stuff, then you're probably going to feel a little bit that way. All right. But if you're eating things that are living, that are growing, that have that energy, then you're going to start to feel that way. I'm not saying you have to do it 100% of the time. Please, I'm not one of those people. I've got ice cream in my fridge right now. I eat cake. Most of my cake's actually pretty healthy. So, yeah, I tend to make my own. Sometimes I don't, though. Sometimes I'll go out and buy pavlova just because I like it and it excites me. But it's a small portion of what I actually eat. Most of the time, like I said, I've got fruit in front of me all the time. I've got these awesome smoothies that I make that are vegetables, that are fruits. And because they're the majority of what I eat by far, probably 80%, maybe a little bit more of what I eat, I'm okay to go and eat other stuff. And I still feel okay. I know sometimes I'll feel a little bit slow when I eat it, but I know that. So I'm not eating it, getting a headache and blaming my head. I'm eating it knowing that I might get a headache because I'm doing this. Then when I get it, I say, all right, cool. I need more water. I need to eat some clean food. I need to do this. And the body sorts itself. Okay. The mice are gone. Right. So we've got air first, water second. This has gone way longer than I wanted to. Third is sleep. Fourth is food. And fifth is movement or exercise in some way, shape, or form. And I think the easiest way to do this is get to a point where you're sweating, doing whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Find ways to make it enjoyable. Get to where you're sweating and then do 10 more minutes. And if you do that 5 days a week, you're pretty good. It doesn't matter if it's walking, it doesn't matter if it's running, it doesn't matter if it's jumping on a trampoline. You can be walking on a treadmill. It's different for every person when they start sweating. If you're not sweating, go back to number 2 and drink more water. Pretty simple. Most people won't sweat in exercise if they're dehydrated. And exercise can be detrimental, and often is, if you're dehydrated and exercising. So make sure you're hydrated before you exercise. But look, they're the 5 pillars. And if you do those things, if you've got those 5 pillars of health, air, water, quality sleep, quality food, living food, and regular exercise where you're sweating and then just do a little bit more at that intensity, you'll find that your health just goes boom. And then the opportunities for these mice or rats or dis-ease to enter into your body doesn't happen. And if it does, it's got to be something extreme like a mice plague smashing across mountains, going into every single house, and a couple happen to get into yours. But pretty quickly, you knock them out because your environment's so good, more aren't going to come to yours. They're going to go elsewhere. I think it's one of the best analogies I've heard for health. I don't know I did it justice here, but hopefully that makes sense to you. And if you've got mice in your house, yes, you want to get rid of the mice. If you've got dis-ease in your body, yes, you want to get rid of the dis-ease. But you need to make sure that the environment in which the mice came to initially isn't one that mice are attracted to. You need to make sure that the environment in which the dis-ease or illness came to your body isn't one in which dis-ease or illness is going to want to keep coming to. If you just take a painkiller to stop pain, you're not dealing with the root cause. It's like just shooting a mouse and not doing anything about the environment in which it came to. You got a clean house. Okay, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. If you want some ideas on doing that, just shoot a comment and I'll answer that comment with whatever I can for, whether it's breathing exercises, sleep exercises, water, types of water, quality water to drink, whether it's types of foods that you want, whether it's whatever. But you have to do it. If you don't do it and you're getting ill and you're getting sick and you're having these mice sort of come into your environment or the rats coming into your environment, but you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results or worse. Let me ask you for a second. if you imagine that you're getting mice into your house or rats into your house, and you've got a filthy house, like you've got crap everywhere, then you go ahead and you kill all the mice, and they're fine and they're sweet. It's all good. Killed them all. They're all gone. But you leave the house as dirty as it is, and you keep doing everything that you're already doing. You chuck rubbish on the floor. You leave food scraps on the floor. You never wash dishes. You do all this sort of stuff. What do you think is going to happen to the environment of the house? Do you think the mice are going to come back? Do you think they're going to come back in bigger numbers? Do you think rats are going to come? And if you keep building that and you've got enough mice and you've got enough rats, what do they attract? They slither. And then if snakes come in, what do snakes attract? Right? So they've all got sort of tip-on and flow-on effects. Just have a think about that and how that might relate to you and your health. And hopefully that triggers something there for you. And I hope it helps. If you've got any questions, shoot them in the comments. But I will chat to you next week. See ya.